Hello, all you ghouls, goblins, witches, and warlocks. Welcome back to Tea and Twitch, to two ghouls talking about stuff that we care about. I am your resident host of everything Halloween Light, Megan, and I have our resident horror expert, Laura.
Yeah. As I just drop my keys and almost fall out of my chair.
Well,
my phone
Laura's
was dying and I did not realize that, so I'm like, I have to put that on the charger.
You're on a bit of a struggle bus today.
Okay. Part of that is because obviously hockey season is back. So I was at a hockey game last night, got home, and immediately started watching two other hockey games because two of my teams are West Coast. So
yeah.
The Bruins are on a West Coast road trip right now, so their game didn't start until 10:30 my time.
Oh gosh.
Hockey ended at 1:45 or 2:00, and then I was up for another hour just doing some random shit.
So what time did you wake up today?
Noon.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I turned off my medication alarm at 11:00 and then went back to sleep for an hour and a half. I didn't leave my room until 12:30-ish, but I was up. I was just in bed because my bed's comfy because I now have a mattress topper. So I'm like, ooh, comfort. And I got new sheets and I got a new comforter. So I'm set.
Nice. That sounds awesome. So before we get too far into our podcast, we do have some exciting announcements that we wanted to talk about to start off. So first big announcement, as of January next year, when we go into our 6th season.
Why did I say 3?
It's not 3 because I had to think about it. I'm like, this year's 5, so going to season 6.
Damn.
Laura and I will be completely independent from Cyber Twits. We are going out on our own. The podcast will still remain as Tea and Twits, but we are being completely separate. We will no longer be on their stuff. They will no longer be on our stuff. So we're branching out, but we're so excited to be able to start, kind of pushing forward with our show because we've loved doing it for now almost 6 years.
Well, almost a complete 5 and then a start of 6, technically.
Yes. The next big announcement is starting with this is our very first episode that is now going up on YouTube, on the Tea and Twits YouTube channel. I'm going to be editing these and putting them up there along with, making sure that it's going up on Spotify. So you can always get the audio versions of that on there. Or if you want to follow us on our YouTube, you can get the podcast on there.
And hopefully in the new year, I will have figured out the best way to have video of us recording without crashing my computer. So hopefully by the new year, we'll also have that. I know I have some video footage and stuff from when I went to Horror Nights that I'm going to try and put together in a video. Little stuff like that so that we can start posting other random shit on YouTube. And then once I have the video stuff figured out, then we'll probably end up starting to have a TikTok for the most random shit we can find.
Yes. But speaking of Halloween Horror Nights, how was it? Did you get all the pictures of all the things?
It was so good. It was so good and fun. So we did on the Thursday night, we did the RIP tour, which is essentially their VIP tour for Horror Nights. It's an additional charge on top of your nightly ticket. And we decided, okay, we want to do that because we've heard about it before. It also, you get guaranteed to do all 10 houses, all the scare zones, and the show in one night, which is hard to do in any regular night if you don't have express. And even then, depending on the flow of time and how things are working that day, you may not be able to get through everything.
Yeah.
Especially not the show, because you get prime seating for the show. We were dead front and center for the show, which was great. But it was essentially, if you're getting an express pass anyway, the RIP tour was maybe an extra $7,500 depending on the night, because the night depends on how much the VIP tour is priced. Because VIP tours are anywhere from I think $300 to $600 or $700. And
Mhm.
obviously those bigger chunks of money are like this time of year, closer to Halloween and closer to like the weekend and all of that. Um,
Yeah.
but it was so worth it. Our group was amazing that we were with. So you essentially get assigned a tour guide. Well, you have the time that you're set to go into and have like your pre-reception stuff at Cafe La Bamba, which
Mhm.
is like little bites and stuff. So it's like they had some of the food that's like at some of the booths. They had like a charcuterie section, a dessert section, and then like a build your own taco bar and like a nacho bar.
Ooh,
So it's like you can, and all the soda and water you can drink.
nice.
Um, which is very nice. From there, you then go over across the street to the horror makeup show. And the only thing is, it doesn't matter what time you signed up for your tour. You just have to be over there at the horror makeup show by like, I think it was like 9 o'clock
Mhm.
in order to get your tour. So the latest time you can go over there to kind of go through the tour is 9 o'clock. And then Cafe La Bamba stays open afterwards. So it's like if you want to go rest after your tour is finished or whatever, they have that open until 1 a.m. so
Mhm.
that you can go back, get like some little desserts or like get more water, get more soda or whatever, which my brother and I did do. And then we had stuff for the rest of the trip because we both had backpacks. Um,
Mhm.
Simple things. They did not give a shit. And then there's 3 bar stops along the way. I like if you saw on Instagram, there's a bar that they do like a lounge type thing on top of the Jimmy Fallon ride. So it's like
Mhm.
you're literally overlooking like all the stanchions and like everything else. It was so cool to see and like you to see everyone's blinky cups and everything else. And then you get the backstory behind all the houses, all the scare zones, everything like that. So
Yeah.
you kind of understand more about the house as you're going into it. So it's very good that way. Essentially,
Mhm.
how our time went out is we got done with our tour around I think 12:30. So we started at like maybe 8, I think. And then
Oh,
that's
wow.
like 2 or 3 bar stops, the show, all 10 houses, all 3 scare 3? 3 or 4, I don't fucking remember how many scare zones there are. Um, actually I think it's 4. All the scare zones regardless. And through everything you get the history, you get the lore, you get just good time because like our tour guide was hilarious on top of
Mhm.
that. And then our group was good because it was like a group of mostly people like mine and my brother's age, and then some older people, but that like people that like loved horror and like loved horror nights in general, which is what a
Yeah.
lot of the RIP tour tends to be, is the people who maybe have a very limited amount of time, but also who love the backstory, love kind of just the ability of horror nights to a degree. But the
Yeah.
other good thing about the RIP tour is you go straight up to the entrance. Like you don't
Oh,
have to wait
wow.
any line. You front of the line entrance. Like there's 3 lines essentially at horror nights. There's the regular line, the express
Mhm.
line, and the RIP tour line, which is literally you walk up, your tour guide has like a thing that they scan. It's like, okay, how many people do you have? It's like, okay, like everyone's going to this house, so we have 12 people or whatever it was. And obviously, if you had issues or stuff like that, to where it's like, these are the type of things that could trigger you in a house. Like, you don't have to, like, they put you at the exit and they tell you, like, I'll be the first one out of the house. You'll see me. So it's like there was
Yeah.
one house where 2 or 3 people sat out, and that was the Twisted Origins house, which literally is set in a carnival because clowns.
Ah,
So
ugh.
yeah, exactly. Um, but it was very fun. I was very glad we did it. We already kind of had decisions on next year we're doing the RIP tour. Like we're never doing it without it. Like we're probably gonna obviously still go. We already have plans to get like the frequent fear pass, which is like essentially you can go to Halloween Horror Nights whatever night you want to.
Mhm.
Um and then do the RIP tour one night and then just go various weekends and go, oh, let's just go through this house, go through this house, go through this house, whatever. But
Yeah.
essentially, before we went to Cafe La Bamba, which I think we went there at 7, door gates opened at like 5:45, 6, something like that. So we had like an hour and a half to kill before we went to go eat some food and then go to our group. And because where we were, you go, you pick up your passes, they tell you what you need to do, and you are in like a holding area completely
Mhm.
separate from everyone else that's by the front gates, but you can still hear and see some of the ceremonies and everything else. So
Yeah.
where they have us in a holding area is, one, they let us out kind of a couple minutes before, like a minute or so before the rail gates open.
Yeah.
And then because of where we're stationed, you have like direct access. Like we literally walked right into a scare zone. It's literally
Oh.
like 5 steps and you're in a scare zone. Um, so we did that. We kind of did a partial loop around, and we knew going into this that there was a potential that I was going to have issues and have an anxiety attack and all of that.
Mhm.
So I brought earbuds, like I had noise cancel, like we had plans just in case.
Yeah.
And we were like, we kept debating. It's like, oh, do we want to go through a house before so I can at least like go through something to where maybe not all the scares are there yet because people are still
Yeah.
getting dressed, whatever. So we ended up going through Chucky first because we know Chucky is my number one. I love the Chucky franchise.
Yeah.
So we went through it. It was there was a few things that were like, oh, that doesn't really make some sense. But then when we went through it later, it made way more sense because we
Mm.
knew the backstory of it. So
Yeah.
most people who went through that house didn't really understand it, and some people didn't really like it. And then it's like you explain the story to them of, hey, this is a very meta house. We made a Chucky Horror Nights house, and then we invited Chucky, and he was insulted that no one was actually being killed. So he started killing everyone.
Oh, wow.
It's so meta. And so it's like there's some people that are like dressed up as characters from either the TV show or the movies, and they're legitimately scare actors pretending to play this person.
Mhm.
So it's very funny. It's like, I'm not even the real like so and so or like this, that, or the other. And it's like he just does not give a shit. He's just killing everyone.
Yeah.
But I was very happy. I went through all the houses. I didn't have one panic attack. One slight issue did happen.
Uh-oh.
There was one house, and it's strictly because of how a layout issue is happening. It
Mhm.
is so you're walking through a house, there's a pole to the left of me, and there's a boo hole for where scare actors didn't come out. So I essentially make sure I'm a little bit too farther away from the pole so that I like know, okay, I'm gonna continue to go straight so I don't bump into anything or hurt myself or whatever.
Yeah.
I guess something happened to where a scare actor either I think went too far out of their mark, or because of how narrow that pathway is, it did not end well for me, the scare actor, and the pole one. So essentially the scare actor and I collided, and then I collided with the pole and like
Oh.
twisted my ankle in the middle of the house. So thank
Ouch.
God it was toward the end of the night. And after that happened, I'm like kind of limping. And we took like a 2-minute break or whatever so that some people go to the bathroom. And I'm just kind of there like on one foot, like trying to like just move it around and like make sure I'm good to go.
Yeah.
Our RIP tour guide was like, "Are you good? What happened?" I was like, so a scare actor and I collided, and then I collided with the pole in the middle of the house." He went, "Are you good? Do I need to get medical? Like, are you good?" I'm like, "I should be fine because we're going to the show." So
Yeah.
thankfully, it went out to where that was our last house we did, and then we went to go see the Nightmare Fuel show, which is like
Mhm.
30-ish minutes to where I'm literally just sitting and getting feeling back into my ankle.
Right.
Thankfully. And then we had 2 other houses, did those, was great. We went back to the hotel. We ordered room service. Now, we stayed at like the top tier hotel because we wanted to make sure we had easy access and quick access back to the hotel after Horror Nights, because
Right.
there are horror stories of like having to wait so long, not only for like a bus or a boat or like whatever. So
Yeah.
we purposely did one of the ones where there was a walking path back to the hotel, which was like a 5-10 minute walking path, or the boats, which are every like 5-10 minutes they come and pick you up or whatever, which is
Yeah.
right outside of the exit for Universal. So it's not that far of a walk to get there. Whereas the
Yeah.
buses are all the way past City Walk, all the way past security, and then those lines go out forever.
And with you having a bum ankle, I can only imagine how fun that
Oh,
was.
we're not even to the other part of things that happened.
Oh no.
Um so we got room service. Mind you, I'm sure people know this by now, but I mean, me and my brother, we did not grow up with luxury or anything like that, or room service or any of those things. So we order like a pizza and like chicken tenders. That's
Mhm.
it. And carrot cake because I wanted carrot cake. Um, priorities.
Yes.
And they were like, "Oh, how many people?" I'm like, "Oh, it's just two of us." It's like, okay. They brought silverware. They brought us waters. I got like the mini ketchup bottles and like all of that stuff. But when I opened the door to let the room service guy in, I'm assuming it's just going to be like a tray they'll put on the desk and we'll be solid. They
Was it the
wheel in.
robot?
No, no, this is a real
Oh.
human person, Megan. They wheel in a whole table and they set up the table. There is a heat box under the table. They take out the pizza, which is in a pizza box. They take out my chicken tenders, unwrap everything, give me the sauces, be like, here you go. If you need anything else, like just give us a call down. When you're done with everything, just call down, say you need a table pickup, and you'll be good to go. I was like, okay, cool. Guy leaves. Me and my brother flip the fuck out because we're like, what the fuck is this shit? Mind you, it is 2:30 in the morning. 2:30
Right.
in the morning, and this is happening. So yeah, we sat and ate our food, and then we spent 5 minutes attempting to figure out how to make the table like partially collapse so I can get it out the door to leave in the hallway.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, so that was weird. And then the thing we did this year, which we're gonna switch around kind of what we're doing, / we need a rest
Mhm.
day in between the RIP tour and the Unmasking Horror tour, which is our
Yeah.
behind the scenes tour, which we also did last year. Because walking so long the one night and then going to sleep at like 2:30, like 3 in the morning to then wake up at like 9:30 to be back there by 10 o'clock. To
Mhm.
then go through 6 of the 10 houses and tour the entire backlot area and everything else is killer. And the one thing about this year as opposed to last year there was more like, I don't want to say leisure time, but it was the guide could keep a certain pace and be fine and like could
Yeah.
stop and wait and talk to let everyone catch up. This year, our guy just like was go, 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 go. And what we noticed this year is they added way more tours. It also could be that there's
Oh.
some houses that can't be toured this year. So it's
Hmm.
like we noticed that I don't think any tours are allowed in the Last of Us house and like one of the other houses. And I think that's just like a IP like type thing that they don't want to happen, which cool, understandable.
Yeah.
Um, but it's like there was legitimate time where we were in the house in one room and not even like a room behind or 2 rooms behind, there was another group touring
Oh
also.
wow. So
And
it's just
because
boom, boom,
of like
boom.
they have essentially the person has a mic and then we have a receiver with a headphone.
Mhm.
So there were times during the tour where my receiver wasn't picking up our person, it was picking up the other one.
Uh-oh.
So it added to way more confusion.
Mhm.
Um and then on top of that, like I said the night before, my ankle got fucked up. So we tore 3 houses. It's lunchtime. I've been struggling this whole time. Like normally these types of things, like I am front of the group, like with the tour guide, like chilling, asking all these questions. I was so fucking far behind. Like at one point I was so far behind, like he wasn't even registering in my headphone anymore.
Oh
And this man just
no.
kept going. Like, thank God I kind of know my way around the back lot because I was
Yeah.
like, okay, we're going that way. I know that house is over there, so we're going this way. So like just they didn't stop to where it's like last year it was like, oh, okay, wait, we were missing like 2 people or whatever.
Yeah.
So we get to lunch, we get back to the seating table area, and mind you, I also have my brace on because I also have a fucked up knee on top of it. So
Same leg or the other leg?
same leg.
Oh.
Same leg. And then on top of that, in one of the houses while we were touring, was like the second house, because I'm overcompensating for my one leg so much, my other one, I was putting too much pressure on it and it like slipped. So I'm just
Oh.
injured beyond belief. And I felt so bad because I'm like, I like kept apologizing to my brother. I'm like, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm so sorry that I'm in so much pain and this is happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
And so instead of normally we would both go grab lunch or whatever. And this year it was an option. Like, if you want to grab lunch and then come back here and eat here, you guys can do that.
Yeah.
So I stayed at the table while my brother and I went to go get us lunch because we were sharing anyway. So he went and grabbed his lunch and brought us back. And I'm literally sitting at the table. Like, I had to take my brace off for a little bit just to like get like let it breathe. And
Yeah.
then literally I had my leg up on a chair. So it's
Mm-hmm.
me and then this older woman who was doing the same thing because she like had hip surgery recently. So she's like, or no, she had like a knee surgery. So she's also struggling. And
Yeah.
she's like, so we start talking to her, all of this. We go, it's to where we're gonna start to go do the last three houses. I go to the
Mm-hmm.
bathroom real quick and I come back and they had wheelchairs there that you could use that were just for the tours and stuff like that. So if you're struggling or whatever, they can put you in a chair and you can just be with everyone and still be okay. So
Yeah.
she ends up in one of those chairs and my brother's just like looking at me like like come on. I'm like, "Oh, I don't know. I feel bad, this, that, or the other." He's like, "Laura, it's a mobility aid. You are quite literally having issues walking right now."
Yeah.
So I then ended up in a wheelchair for the second half of the tours, which is, I don't want to say funny, but it's very on par for a Tiro like vacation of anything. One or both of
Yeah.
us getting injured in some capacity. So he's literally wheeling me into the next house, and I'm like recording, being like, "I'm in a wheelchair now, guys," because I'm updating our friends, being like, "So I'm in a
Right.
wheelchair now. This is what happens when I get fucked up." Um, and then it worked out kind of well because we made friends with that woman and her family. So
Mm-hmm.
me and her were just vibing in the wheelchairs, and her husband very much likes taking pictures. Like, he had whole professional camera, everything else, and he would
Yeah.
stay back in the rooms because he wanted to get shots of things without people everywhere. So
Mm-hmm.
it's very funny because James also likes to do that to a degree. And so halfway through the first house, I'm like, "Oh, wait, no, I know how to maneuver myself in a wheelchair. I'm good. I'll need help like when we're outside and it's like uneven road and stuff like that. I may need help then." So I'm
Yeah.
just pushing, vibing myself in the wheelchair. I guess the woman got fed up, like just chilling there until her husband was done and just started wheeling herself with me as well. Um, and by the end of that first house after break,
Uh-huh.
my brother and the husband were just chilling and vibing together because he would take pictures. My brother would be holding his phone to like help with the light and everything else, and just hilarious. But the last three houses were way more enjoyable because I could like keep up and like maneuver and be good to do things.
I am convinced that you met your future self and your brother met his future self.
Yeah, I mean, kind of. Their daughter was a vibe too. Their daughter was great because their daughter is my age. So
Okay.
so it works out well to where it's like, and realistically, what makes it funnier is she doesn't like horror or any type of thing like that. She was just
Yeah.
there to chill and vibe because it's more
Nice.
her husband and her daughter.
Yeah.
So it worked out well. So we also kind of got the timing wrong this year. We did
Mm.
a way earlier tour last year to where we then had like 2-3 hours before the actual horror night started. So we thought that would also be the case this year,
Yeah.
so that we could go back to the hotel, rest our feet for a little bit, change, because I was in completely different clothes than what I was going to be wearing that night and
Yeah.
everything else. That didn't happen. So we literally finished our tour and had to run in like scan into the park and run to Stay and Scream areas because we were like half an hour from Stay and Scream closing essentially and
Oh
getting
wow.
kicked out of the parks.
Yeah.
So we had already decided that we were going to go to separate stay and scream areas because he very much wanted to do the Last of Us house again. And I was not strong enough for that.
Yeah.
Because the thing about these houses is I am a target. And I know it's because of how I carry myself in these houses. Because I make sure either my hands are like very much down to my sides and I'm like grabbing onto like my shirt or something, or they're in my pockets.
Yeah.
Because my first reaction in a lot of these things is self-defense. Punch. So they clock that. As someone who has been around scare actor figures, they clock that. It's also just the vibe I give off is I'm like over there like tense, like, okay, this will be great. This is great. Yay! And what makes it funnier is the night before, there was someone else in the group that we made friends with who she's also the same way. So half the time, me and her were like, it was either me in front and her behind me or her in front and me behind her.
Yeah.
And I guess these scare actors were great at making sure they scared in between us to get both of us. And then in the Stranger Things house, every Vecna was out to get me. Every single Vecna was out to get me. In the Exorcist house, every fucking demon attempted to get James because he was behind me.
Oh no.
And got me instead. Mind you, the Last of Us house, I already knew it was going to be a thing because the Last of Us game, I can never play it myself because I get too fucking terrified. And I get terrified because of like some of the sound triggers and stuff like that, even when other people are playing it.
Yeah.
So I already knew going into this that there was a bloater and a clicker that were going to fuck me up. Clicker came straight running at me. I was like, fuck. There was like I think there was 2 clickers that got me very bad. And there was a bloater that he was kind of more on a stagey thing, which they changed like the week after we went. So he was free moving the week after we went because my brother went back with his girlfriend. So I kind of survived that, but I was like, I'm too traumatized from that house. I can't go through it again. So I went through the New York Stay and Scream, which if you do horror nights ever, like talking to everyone in general, 100% research your Stay and Scream areas and like the house layouts, because that will give you a good idea of where to start. So a lot of people were staying for Stay and Scream like in the back, like where my brother went, because that's like Last of Us and like I think Twisted Origins, but everyone was trying to get in line for Last of Us because that line gets really fucking long.
Yeah.
Unlike my Stay and Scream area was for 3 different houses. It was like Stranger Things, Dueling Dragons, and I want to say Exorcist, I think. Were open to where you can line up already, and then they start moving you like before ceremonies even start. Essentially, you're starting to go through houses.
Yeah.
And everyone kind of flocked to the Stranger Things one from there. But I went through Dueling Dragons. So I literally did 3 houses, and he still had a 40-minute wait to go through his.
Ooh.
So definitely research Stay and Scream areas. And then I went back. I catched the Megan Horde, which I was very happy to do.
Yay!
It was completely by accident too. I was like, my brother and I were chilling over by San Fran and just like people watching at the scare zone.
Yeah.
And so he went to go do another house. I was going back because I was like, I'm just gonna go chill in Vamp 69 and just have fun. And then I kind of veered off a little bit because I'm like, oh, let me go look at the Chucky wait time. Let me see how much that is. Maybe I'll go through the house again. And I hear the music cues change because I know what the music in that area is supposed to sound like. And I'm like,
yeah,
wait a second. And then I see a group of people and I'm like, holy shit. So I got there right as they started their dance. And then people started lining up afterwards. And I'm like, I wonder why they're lining up. So I got in line because I'm like, fuck it. Whatever. If I hate it, I'll know like before 5 people or whatever. And I could fake leaving. It was a fucking photo line because you can, for so many people, they'll do photos after the Megan Horde and you'll have a photo with the entire Megan Horde.
Did you get a photo?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
They took like 3 or 4 on my phone for me. But it's like essentially if you're in a group, it's one photo per group. So if you have like 4 people in a group, you're not getting 4 separate photos. You're getting one photo with all 4 of you in like
Right.
whichever way you want to do it with the Megan Horde. But it's just so good. It's like some random shit I have. And then I made friends with scare actors in Vamp 69
Nice.
because I would just add to it because I would just chill and we'd be vibing and just talking back and forth, like in character, obviously, for them.
Yeah.
And then so people will be like, "Oh, cool, I'm safe because he is distracted." Bitch, you thought. Bitch, you thought. But yeah, it was very fun. And then we just kind of chilled the rest of our days. Like we literally the day after that, we left horror nights very early that second night because we're like, it was a
Yeah.
free ticket tonight because we have with our tier of pass, we have a free horror nights ticket to use. We're like, we didn't really spend money. We got to do vaguely what we wanted to do anyway.
Yeah.
So let's just go back to the hotel and chill. We
Yeah.
did. We slept in, and then we're like, oh, what do we want to do? Huh. We just kind of vibed to the hotel. Like we brought our bathing suit and everything else. And it was like, no,
Yeah.
I kind of don't really want to go do that. We thought about going back to Horror Nights, but we're like, no. So it was a very successful trip. We just already kind of know we need to schedule it a little bit differently for
Hmm.
next year. Like we know we definitely want to do the RIP tour most likely on the Wednesday or Thursday night because that was
Yeah.
very chill to a degree. It was chill, but it also didn't feel nearly as crowded as it would on like a Friday or a Saturday night type deal.
Yeah. Did you ever see the Phantom of the Opera that was supposed to be at Horror Nights this year?
Yes, because that was a house. So
Oh,
essentially,
cool.
and that was one of the houses I toured. So I have some photos of like some of the background stuff and some of the posters and stuff like that I want to send you. I think
Nice.
I also have a photo of the frog. So in the houses, the design team tends to hide something every year.
Hmm.
It's normally like a little plastic thing and then they like design something around it. So like last year it was spiders, this year it was frogs.
Ooh.
So there is a frog that has like a little Phantom of the Opera mask on.
Oh, that's so
In
cute.
the Dueling Dragons house, they hid 2 frogs. One was the ice frog and one was the fire frog.
Nice.
In the like colonial like Puritan timey house, there was a frog that had a like Puritan hat on it. Like the frogs are honestly always one of my favorite fucking parts of these house or like whatever like little hidden thing. Mind you,
Yeah.
on our tour, because the design team very small and it's like a design like maintenance team to
Yeah.
go through and redo certain parts of the aspect and of all the houses. It's a very small team, and they're the ones who get to do like those like little dumb little hidden things. We ran into
Yeah.
one of them. He's like, I made all the tiny hats. He was so proud
Yeah.
of himself. And honestly, fucking mood because they were great.
We
Um,
we love someone that's obsessed with their own work.
honestly, I love each and every person who goes through and designs these things because there's so many little details that you don't really see a lot of the times when you're walking through the
Hmm.
houses. You definitely see them when you're touring the houses.
Yeah.
But like if you're going like a lot, you'll kind of start kind of predicting, you'll know vaguely where the scares are. So you can kind of look around a little bit more. But
Yeah.
also some of the effects they do to where it's like in like example in the unmasking house. Unmasking? The Universal Monsters house, it's easier way to say it.
Yeah.
Where like Phantom was, you essentially there's a part where it's like you're going through the tunnels and you're going up to like the actual level in Paris, and they had like a lake effect on
Ooh.
the one side where it's like it looks like it's like this big expansive room, but it's literally like a 2 by 3 like little area that's closed off. It has the
Hmm.
lights on the bottom, and then there's mirrors on either side, so it looks
Oh,
way
optical
longer.
illusion.
It
That's
it like it's
awesome.
so good, and obviously I love that technical shit. So it's
Yeah.
so good to see. But I took some photos. I have to still go through them because I haven't went through all of them yet.
I'd
Because I
imagine
kind of
you had a busy weekend.
yeah, I've had a busy like month since we've done that.
Yeah.
Um and then hockey has started. So I also still have not finished going through my hockey photos from the last year technically.
So
I'm
you're just
almost
adding
done.
more hockey photos on top of
Okay,
it.
no, but this year I have a system. This
Uh-oh.
year I have to go through them like within that same week at some point and
Mhm.
delete all the ones that are either blurry or I don't like or I can't edit good enough to where
Yeah.
it's like, example, Thursday I took like 350 photos and I ended up, that's also just by warm-ups. That's not including some of the
Good
videos I took.
Lord.
Um yeah. And then I essentially edited those 350 down to I think like 120 or something. I took about 330 last night, which I'm about halfway done going through.
Mhm.
And then I have a game Tuesday. So I'm kind of keeping a thing and then like each month where it's like whenever they have like their next away stretch, I'm going to make sure I download all of those to my hard drive and then go through and name everything like I need to. So it's
Yeah.
like I have a solution type deal essentially for
Right.
that because I also need to make sure I go through and delete some stuff because I had so many on my phone that it's just I have no space. Like I still have so many on my phone from last year, which I
Mhm.
need to go through and delete because they're blurry or this, that, or the other. So I went through that and I did that on the computer, but they're still on my phone.
Ah.
So I need to go through that and do those for last year still. But as long as I keep up with them this year, it won't be as bad. I
Yeah.
say in hope.
Right. You say
I
at the very
say in
beginning of
hope.
hockey season.
We're 2 home games in, and I've already taken probably 1,000 photos and videos between both dates. Because that like 300 and whatever I said for both of those days, that's only for warm ups. That's not including videos and stuff I take during the actual game or videos I edit because I edited one video after the home opener with some of my video
Mhm.
clips, and I posted it on TikTok because to like the
Yeah.
it's like the home like sound or whatever. It's like, oh, where's home? Blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
And
I
then it
saw
goes into
that
the
one,
cool
yeah.
song. So I edited that because I'm like, it is kind of my home. It's a thing.
Yeah.
Um,
Home
but
is where
yeah,
you're happy.
home is where I'm happy. Which is either in my literal bed with a book or at a hockey game. There is no in
Yes.
between. There is
Accurate.
no in between for me. Okay, but that's been my life lately. It's been horror nights. It's been hockey and yelling at hockey. One good thing is one of the new guys on the team, we've kind of made friends with them
Yeah.
by accident because I guess we are always in like our same one area for warm-ups. Like we get there early. If not all of us are there early, whoever is there
Mhm.
the earliest, it is a rule like you are keeping that space open for us. Like it's good.
Yeah.
And the last 2 games we have gotten pucks essentially. So
Nice.
we make sure we like give it to like the teens and the kids that are with us.
Yeah.
So both of those got it. One of them got it yesterday, and then Lundell, another player, we made sure a kid who was just there randomly got a puck too because he
Mhm.
was very hopeful and very much wanted a puck. So we
Aw.
do our best to try and make sure like if there's a kid that's like way smaller or like are very excited or stuff like that, like we try and like get their attention and make sure they get a puck. Because
Yeah.
we kind of know the guys that'll give pucks and who just chills and actually vibes by themselves during warm up.
Right.
But we've made some friends, I guess is the easiest way to put it. But it's like I have photos of like one of our new guys that's like literally looking directly at me, like directly at my camera that I'm like doing photos with. Like I'm like, oh, cool, I got a good photo. I
Yay.
got some of those of like some of the other guys too, but it's also very funny because I don't know if you've seen this.
For
For those of
the
you in the audience,
for
I'm
the
currently attempting
for,
to take my hair out of its. Okay, first of
oh
all,
yeah, I did see that you dyed your hair like your
yeah.
true
So
colors.
other things of Laura's life. I went blonde for a very like 2 weeks. And
Mhm.
then last week before home opener, I went to my hairstylist and we color blocked my hair essentially. So my hair is red and navy blue, with
Nice.
split dyed, and then in either front piece is the opposite color. Which was very funny because some people did like a double take being like, bitch, the fuck? Because it's like when you're in the same area, you kind of start making friends to some degree.
Yeah.
So it's like we have like our own little warm-up group, and it's like all of that. Like we know each other, we know all of our names, we hug, like it's like, oh, where were you? Like what was like what's going on? Like all of that
Yeah.
jazz. Like it's camaraderie. It's nice.
Yes.
So they were all very surprised in my head. They're like, "Oh my god, it's so good." Um, and then I wore it in like little space buns last night, which you probably saw the picture of because that's what I changed my profile picture to for like
Yep.
everything. I literally got home and I'm like, wait, I look cute. I need to picture something. But yeah, I think that's the only other update I had is I did my hair. Hockey season, Halloween. I think that's about it for me. Now on to you, because there's other big things that have happened in your life.
I had a very busy month. So this one started out with I finally like the first I think this was on the 3rd of October. I got the call that I was offered the job that I interviewed for. So obviously I accepted, which was fantastic. So now I am starting a new job on Monday. I left my last job this last Friday, and was able to, for the first time in 7 years, clear off my personal desk of all the work stuff. It's now over in a corner until I get the boxes to ship everything back. But
Yeah.
my office is finally mine to do, streaming stuff, editing, stuff like that. So I got my laptop out of the living room, which has been so nice. So now it's just away and I don't have to look at it. So that happened. So literally this last month has been me getting ready to start this new job. I literally spent about $700 on new clothes because
Oh,
I needed. Well, I haven't worked out of the house in 7
years.
years.
Yeah.
So I don't have any like professional clothes. In this job, I have to look, like workplace professional because I'm going to be actually going and meeting with people and stuff like that. So I had to buy like slacks and like a skirt and, just stuff that I could like wear. But I sent this picture to you today, but today was kind of a challenge to see if I could take one of my t-shirts that I already had, make it more business professional,
Mhm.
and
Which
still,
is very
kind
easy
of
to do
get,
when you know how to do it.
yeah, kind of get away with it. So today, for church was Slytherin, but make it business casual. So I had a vest and I have my Slytherin alumni shirt on, mostly because I wanted to wear my snake ring, and it matched with everything. So I actually looked really
That
nice
tracks.
today. So now I'm just kind of getting in the mind of, okay, so I can wear, my regular tees with the vest over it and kind of be okay. Because tomorrow I actually have to drive into Arlington for the morning for like IT and all that type of stuff. And then I have to drive back over. Literally, the office I'm working out of now is about 10 minutes from my house. It's just straight up the freeway. So
Uh-huh.
I have to drive back to that office once I get done in the morning and then finish out the rest of my day there. So, but I'm very excited. It's going to be a lot of fun. The other thing, the big and I immediately get Laura's attention. The other big thing that happened was I got a shout out on the New Heights
Yep.
podcast that Travis and Jason Kelsey both do. And that was like just mind blown, just type thing. Cause I've started listening to their podcast while I've been working, and it always comes out at like 8:30 on Wednesday. And I've been in back-to-back meetings this last week training the people that are taking over my job how to do it. And so I didn't get to the podcast until almost 10 o'clock. And what had happened was on their Friday video the week prior, I submitted a no don't question, which is a segment that they do on their podcast. That lately it's been all the Swifties just kind of asking, football questions and stuff like that because Taylor Swift is now dating Travis Kelsey, and
I mean, it's
I
been something different from before that, but it turned into like other shit too.
yeah, which I'm like, you know what? It's great. More people watching football. That's great. But I submitted a no dumb question, and it was, what's the most confusing or infuriating penalty to deal with during a game? And I didn't really think anything about it because it's literally a gamble of whether or not their
Yep.
team is going to see your question to pull it for the show, whatever it is. So they're going through no dumb questions and they're getting towards it's like the last two questions. And Travis starts reading off the question and it says, "What is the most confusing?" And I immediately perked up. I'm like, wait a minute. He goes, "Oh, wait, sorry. This question is from it's Megan Query." And I stopped. I'm like, "Wait a minute. What the hell?" So I paused the podcast because I watched it on YouTube, and I called my brother, and he goes, "Yeah," and I'm like, "I'm on New Heights." He goes, "Excuse me?" I said, "I'm on New Heights. That they used my question for no dumb questions." He goes, "You're joking." I said, "No, I took a screenshot of it, and literally my question is on the little like lower third.
The lower third.
Yeah." So and I sent it to him, and he goes, "Shut up, that's amazing." So he's like, "Okay, what's the number, like the timestamp?" And so I gave it to him, and he recorded that clip, and I posted it to my TikTok. My TikTok blew the fuck up. Like, holy hell in a handbasket. I got over 500 people liking that video in one day. And
It's
my
very
phone just
weird when that happens.
it's so weird. I'm like, "Oh my gosh." But then I tweeted the New Heights Twitter channel. And I said, this completely made my day. And I tagged Travis and Jason,
Yeah.
and I tagged the New Heights thing, and they liked it. So I'm like, okay, so they're still watching it. And then yesterday was when it got like really weird because they used my question video in a
And then
tweet
they
of
posted
theirs.
the singles.
They posted it, yeah, they posted it on as a tweet, and then they posted it on Instagram. And I'm pretty sure they posted it to their TikTok too, but I haven't looked out there yet.
They did.
But okay.
They
So,
did, because I almost messaged it to you, but I'm like, oh, she probably already saw it.
I'm just like, and the thing was like, I couldn't even like react to it right away because I was in the middle of driving with my mom to a baby shower yesterday. And all of a sudden I got texts from my brother, and I got notifications on Twitter and on Instagram because people are tagging me in it. And I'm like, okay, so this is a thing. This is a thing. And I'm like, but what made it even like more full circle for me is we got back from the baby shower to my parents' house, and I'm dropping off my mom because we obviously rode together. And I decided to sit and chat for a while. And my grandmother's there. Granted, I have not seen my grandmother in 3 months because she's been on a book tour on the West Coast. She wrote a book. That's a different story.
That's a completely different story. I'm very confused. Sorry, okay.
Yeah, let me finish this, and then we can go back to the book thing. But she's sitting on the couch, and she goes, "Megan," yes, yeah. She's like, "Is this you?" And she turns the phone to a snapshot that a friend of hers, so her age, a friend of hers has sent her, and it's of Travis Kelce with my name on the bottom of it. And I go, "Yep, that's me." And I explained to her what happened. She goes, "I just got this text from my friend saying, 'Is this your granddaughter?'" Because obviously my last name is completely, bonkers. No one's gonna have the exact same last name as I do.
Especially your last name. Your last name is very specific.
Yeah. So, and my grandmother replied back to her friend, and her friend, I guess, texted my grandmother and said, she's like, "I have become a Swiftie and a Travis Kelce fan all within the same month, and my two sons are sitting next to me shaking their heads." And then she goes, "This is what made it weird. This is what made it really weird." She's like, "Can I have your granddaughter's autograph?" And I'm like, "I am not famous. I am not. I want to be so badly, and I am not." It was just, it. Don't hurt yourself.
Fine, it's a regular occurrence on this podcast. We should know this by now.
Right. But I'm like, just, it blew my mind because I'm like, now it's just not just like people, because I didn't even tell my grandmother about this whole thing. I told my parents and I told my brother. And then it all just kind of blew up. So what I did, I would try to be very freaking strategic about it, is I went on to the Tea and Twits Twitter page and decided to quote tweet the video that New Heights put out to kind of promo this month's podcast to try and get people from there to pull over here. So whether or not it works, let us know if you're coming over here because you saw that thing. Because why not?
You keep looking and rambling about Halloween Horror Nights for so long. Because I need you to know, I just looked at the time and I'm like, oh shit, I was talking a long time.
It's okay. I knew you were gonna have a lot to say about Halloween Horror Nights, so
I need you to know because I've been watching New Heights for a while now, and then I
yeah.
stopped for a little bit, and then I started again, and then all the Swift nonsense happened, and I'm like, oh fuck, what happened to that? I used to like watch it all the time. Why did I stop? So then I went through all my backlog stuff. Wednesdays are my podcast days. I have like 4 or 5 podcasts that come out on Wednesdays,
Yeah.
so I have it going in a YouTube list during work. I was on the last 5 minutes of one podcast, and New Heights was my next podcast to start watching. And Megan
Yeah.
messages our group chat and was like, "So guys, I'm on New Heights." I'm like, "This bitch didn't have let me have 10 minutes to get there."
I didn't know who all in our group actually watches New Heights because like
I
I
mean,
started
probably
just
not
this
many of them.
season. Yeah, probably not. But yeah, that whole thing, and I'm just like, this got really weird because not the same day that all came out, I had to go to the church because I was doing some stuff for a conference that's happening this week, and the amount of people that came up to me and go, "Wow, you're suddenly on New Heights. What's up with that?" And I'm like, my dad has not been at work. My dad works at the church. My dad has not been at work.
Yeah.
He's been on vacation. So it's not him telling him that. It's the other people listening to that podcast, and then being like, that name. It can't be the same person. Like, yeah, that's me.
That's me.
So that's really been the two big things this month. But going back to the book thing. So my grandmother has been trying to write this book for the past 6-ish years, 5-6-ish years. She started writing it after my grandfather died. It's about grief and how to, kind of work through the grief and how she's worked through it the last, however long. She finally finished it. We got it published. And it's all through my dad's LLC because he has his own company and whatnot. But then she stop hitting things.
I didn't mean to.
But because she was a Church of God preacher, started contacting a bunch of people in the Church of God and got dates that she could come out there, promote her book, sell it, stuff like that. So she's been gone for 13 weeks. She was on tour. She came back for a few days and then flew out to North Carolina. Now she's back again. She leaves some point in November to go on her last 1 or 2 book dates.
Mm-hmm.
And she's now filming a video for my church about her life, the book, blah, blah.
Okay, so what I'm hearing is it's been an eventful, celebrity-filled couple months in the Query household.
Yes. Essentially, yes.
Like, what the fuck?
It's been a thing. Did I tell you about the thing with my brother and his podcast? With them getting. So my brother and his former roommate Garrett do a podcast called the GQ a wrestling podcast.
Yep.
And there is a restaurant in Iowa, and I don't remember where, but it is called the Flying Elbow.
Okay, wait, that's kind of iconic, not gonna lie.
It's a wrestling themed restaurant. It's like a bar and grill. But you go in there and on the walls they have like autographs and stuff like that from wrestling royalty that have been through there. So they got Hulk Hogan, Ric Flair, blah blah, like all of that in there. So Garrett went a couple of weeks ago, was talking with the guy that runs the restaurant, telling him about their podcast. And now they're in the works to try and do something with him, but they're also, my brother is so smart. He is working on getting press passes for him and his co-host for when Raw goes back to Des Moines.
Holy shit.
In December, so that they can get backstage.
The fuck?
Because their podcast is in the top 10 on Spotify for wrestling podcasts. Right?
Damn.
Right? Like,
holy shit, dude.
I am very proud of them. They've been very consistent.
They've been doing a lot. I know you. Every time we talk, it's like something else they're doing, and I'm like,
yeah. They have been very consistent with it, and I'm trying to get them to record on Discord so that it's easier for them to edit and then post to Spotify. Because otherwise they're only, the way Spotify has you record it in the browser is it only does it in 30-minute chunks. So then they have to do like breaks in between. And so my brother literally stays up until midnight the days that they record, editing everything just to put it up. So I'm trying to get it to kind of ease their burden, but working with him through that and then this, and I'm just like, what happened in 2023? This thing's just kind of blew the fuck up.
Yeah. Especially the last half. Like, the first half was like, oh, dilly-dally, slow. And then the last half is like, guess what,
right?
bitch?
It's like full steam of fucking head. Like, geez Louise. But, yeah. So that's kind of, where my life has been this last month. But this episode, Laura is very scared. Because normally Laura does our Halloween podcast, and I told her that this year I've got the Halloween podcast.
Once we set a date to record, I'm like, okay, do you have, I was like literally getting ready to type, you have any preferences on what we want to do this year? Do you have any stories you want me to like kind of research and cover and stuff like that? I couldn't even finish typing that out when this bitch literally goes, oh, don't worry about anything, I have it covered. I'm like, okay, let me know if you need anything. Concerned.
Don't be concerned. There's nothing to be concerned about. So like I stated at the top of the podcast, I am the purveyor of all things Halloween light. I love Halloween for the dressing up aspect and all the cute costumes and stuff like that. I don't personally like horror movies. I like thrillers. I love the psychological thrillers. But the horror movies, when it gets to blood and gore, I have a very hard time with. But there is a channel on TikTok that for Halloween, for the entire month of October, she does paintings related to different aspects of Halloween. Last year, it was different iconic characters or like myths or stuff like that. This year, she's doing it on different phobias. So, Laura, what all do you know about phobias?
Too much, and if you show me a spider right now, I'm fucking leaving.
No. I'm not gonna show you pictures. I promise.
Okay.
So I have
like the names of phobias, or like how everything can be a phobia, essentially.
The names of phobias.
Some I'm good at, some I suck at. Most likely will probably suck because we know me and words do not get along a lot of the time.
So I have 2 different games that we can play. It's going to be up to you which one we play. So do you want weird or do you want scary?
Let's do scary. Why not? I like scary.
So the scary game is I have the list of the top 20 scariest phobias.
Okay.
You have to say a phobia and where you think it is on the list.
Oh no, do I have a list of phobias to go off of? Or no?
You could just say fear of whatever it is, and then I'll tell you if it's on the list or not.
Okay. And I have to
you
say
don't
like
necessarily
where...
you if you want to figure out a phobia first, if I'll tell you if it's on the list, and then you have to figure out where on the list it is.
Okay, cool. Let's do that. Fear of death or dying.
I think I remember this one. Pardon me while I scroll. No,
you can
that one is not on the list.
Also, to make your life easier, you can control F and type in keywords.
Yeah.
Just to make your life easier if need be. Shit. Fear of asphyxiation. There we go. Words. Or like to be like choking, like things like that. Because I don't know what clarifies as scary is the thing.
Nope, it's like, that one's not on the list either.
Okay, well, fear of clowns, just because I'm looking at you right now.
Correct.
Oh shit. Okay, so okay. Okay, now I can kind of gauge it slightly. I'm gonna say top 20.
Yeah, I have the list of the top 20.
Okay. Let's do like number 11, maybe?
Higher on the list.
Ha. Number 6.
Higher.
Number 2,
Lower.
3,
Lower.
5,
Higher.
4.
There we go.
I was like, we'll
Chlor-
get there eventually.
Chlorophobia is the fear of clowns. Films like It or the latest season of American Horror Story Cult are best avoided for those with this condition.
Bolt. Is that the new
Amer-
season this year? Or is that like
American Horror Story. It's not the one that's currently on with Kim Kardashian. It's the one right before it.
okay? I don't remember Cult. Sorry, I kind of go on and off American Horror Story sometimes. Let's do spiders because might as well get both of ours out.
Yeah, right. Oh, I fucking hate spiders. Um, spiders is not on the list.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. Scary fears. Scary fears. Scary fears. Like tryptophobia, like fear of like small holes or anything like that.
Yes. I have that fear, by the way.
Really?
It
Okay.
just gives me a weird just ugh. So where on the list is
Um,
it?
I'm gonna say like number 2.
Lower.
Mm, Number 10.
Higher.
Okay. So 2 and 10. 4 has already been taken. 6.
Lower.
Lower. Okay, so it's between 6 and 10. 8.
Higher.
7.
Yes.
I'm always getting within 1.
Trypophobia, the fear of holes, a phobia that thousands claim to have despite not being a diagnosis in the APA's Diagnostic and Statistic Manual 5th edition. It results in a deep fear or anxiety for those who have it when looking at a cluster of small holes.
Okay. Claustrophobia, like the sphere, fear of small enclosed spaces.
Yes.
Let's do number 2.
Dead
Has to be high.
on.
Really? I was like, that has to
Yeah.
be like very high up because I have like small hints of claustrophobia when it comes to like elevators.
Yeah. Claustrophobia is the fear of tight spaces. Around 5 to 7% of the world's population suffers from the fear of enclosed spaces.
To piggyback off of enclosed spaces, fear of being buried alive.
Yes.
Ooh. Um, I'm gonna go like 5.
Higher.
Okay, wait, claustrophobia is number 2. Let's go number 1.
Correct.
Ooh, okay.
Taphoph- Taphophobia is the fear of being buried alive. While fairly irrational by today's standards, in the past there have been cases of those who were wrongly declared dead being buried alive. Safety coffins have even been designed just in case those inside are in need of rescuing.
Yeah, because in olden times they used to have like bells on the graves and
Yep.
then with the string and then you would have to pull the bell and like all that shit too.
Yeah.
Um Let me do one that I know some people have of like blood.
Yes, it's on this list because I just saw it. Yes.
Okay. I feel like a lot of people have to have that. 10
Lower.
can't be much lower than 10, I don't think. So we'll just do 11.
Yes.
Ooh, yay.
Hemophobia is the fear of blood. Do you faint when you see blood? You may have hemophobia, one of the more common phobias for obvious gruesome reasons.
Hmm. fear of like outside or like going outside. I don't know if that's like a thing. I feel like that's a thing.
Mhm.
Agoraphobia, that's what it is.
Yes, it is
Okay.
on this list.
Okay. Now the question is, where on that list is it? I don't think a lot of people have that, so I'm gonna do lower 5. So we'll start at 15, and then if I have to go higher.
Dead on, actually.
Fuck yeah!
Agoraphobia is the fear of going outside. Anxiety around being in public environments indicates some level of agoraphobia. A common symptom of the condition is panic attacks that can be triggered even just by leaving the home.
Okay. Uh, uh, trying to think. What do people? Children.
Oddly enough, yes, this is a phobia that's on the list.
Okay. 18. Like it can't be that
Ah,
popular.
higher.
Higher.
Yeah.
16.
Yes.
Ooh. Okay.
So if you had to guess, what do you think the phobia name would be?
No. Okay. The thing is, by your face and you're laughing, I feel like the word pedo has to be in there in some capacity because pedophilia is blah 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 blah.
Mhm.
So pediophobia? I don't know.
Pedophobia is the fear of children. The fear of children has been often studied without landing on a general consensus as to the cause. However, its societal impacts are far reaching, and some consider that while we often have warmth for our own children, it often doesn't apply to the children of others.
No, I just don't like kids. Actually, that's a lie. I do like some kids. Oh, one I had when I was younger, and then I started liking Chucky. Fear of dolls.
Yes, that one is on the list. I still hate
Zach Bagans, I
dolls.
see you. That man hates dolls. See, that has to be higher on the list. Number 3. I don't know if 3 was taken
Yes.
already. Oh shit!
No,
Yeah,
dead
I
on.
win.
So very close to the last phobia, pediophobia, Pedio, is the fear of dolls. One that Hollywood likes, this fear includes humanoid looking objects such as robots, dolls, and mannequins.
Okay. Okay. I'm gonna get real philosophical here.
Hmm.
Fear of like being forgotten.
Yes, that is on this list.
Oh, okay. Um, let's go with number 13.
No, higher than that.
Mm, 8.
Higher.
6. Did I
Yes.
already? Oh, okay. I was like, did I already do 6?
No, we already did 7, which is trypophobia.
Ah, okay, that's what it was.
Athazagoraphobia is the fear of being forgotten. Talk about an existential dread. This is likely the phobia that spurred on many a tortured artist. I know,
Okay.
some of these captions are fantastic.
Okay. Okay. The thing is, I feel like if fear of being forgotten is a thing, fear of like just like time passing you by and like not doing shit would have to be something.
That is a phobia on this list.
Okay. Okay. Ow. 9? I don't remember if 9 was already a thing.
Nope, higher.
Higher. Okay. So we did 6, we did 7, 8.
Yes.
Okay. I was like, if it's not
Chronoph-
9, I'm gonna have to go 8. Because 1, 2,
right.
and 3 I think are already done.
I think all we have left in the first top 10 is 10 and 5.
Okay.
Chronophobia is the fear of time passing. The fear of time can be triggered by various things. Depression, aging, or a traumatic event can cause this fear. Prisoners often experience it as their perception of time while incarcerated disappears. That one's kind of sad.
That is kind of sad, I'm not gonna lie. I'm gonna throw something so out of pocket. Fear of anime characters.
No, that one specifically is not on there, but there is something kind of adjacent to it. Oh, we also haven't had 9 on our first top 10.
Adjacent to it. Okay,
There's actually 2 of them that are kind of adjacent
to anime.
You said anime characters, so
okay.
Go with that what you will. At least in my mind, they're rather adjacent.
That's fair. Considering I'm hydrating, fear of dehydration. I think that's the dumbest thing I've ever said, but
that one is not on there,
okay.
but there is something again adjacent to it.
Wait, character. People? Like the fear. Is that a thing?
The fear of people is on this list.
I feel like that would have to be within like the top 15, so we'll do 9 because I feel like if it's gonna be lower, it's not gonna be much lower than that.
Spot on. Oh good lord. Anthropophobia is the fear of people. Obviously, this one would really mess with one's day-to-day. Depending on what side of the spectrum a person with this phobia falls, the range is mild timidity to severe shyness. So that's a weird one.
Fear of numbers? I don't know.
So it's more specific, but you're on a good track with that.
Okay. There are only 2 numbers I can think of that I know people hate. That's 666, but I feel like that's too like niche.
Mm-hmm.
In 13, because 13, Friday the 13th, blah blah blah.
Fear of the number 13 is on this list.
I'm sorry, what? No.
Yep. It's a legit fear. And for those Friends fans that are listening, it's also a joke from Friends.
Okay. Be real funny if it was number 13. Not gonna lie.
It would be. It's not, but it would be. It's lower than that.
I feel like that can't be super popular. There's no way. So 17?
Lower.
18.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm trying to figure out what my dog is doing.
I was like, what did Brooklyn do now?
You know, she's just tearing apart her toys.
Okay. Yeah, well, Megan attempts to make sure the dog does not kill something or themselves.
Yeah. Right. So number 18 is triskaidekaphobia, the fear of the number 13. This one seems almost irrational, and yet the number 13 has long been a number related to the occult. Unlucky number 13, it makes for Spooky Fridays, which has its own fear, paraskevectotriophobia, and ditched floors in hotels. Which came first, the fear of the number 13 or the number itself?
Okay. Okay. Was death and dying one of them? I feel like I said that already. I don't know if it was on the list, but I mentioned it, correct?
You've mentioned it, it's not on this list.
Okay. I feel like I need to piggyback off that because people get really freaked out in funeral homes, and they specifically get freaked out when they see caskets.
Fear of caskets is on this list.
Oh, fuck yeah!
Your brother would be so proud.
Yeah, really. I feel like it needs to be low, so we'll do 19.
Higher.
Oh, okay. 14.
Higher.
Call back to number 13.
Still higher. Keep going.
What the fuck? Did I do 9 yet? I feel like I did 9.
Yes.
I did not 10.
There you go.
Okay.
This
so
the name of this
10's now out, right?
No, we still have one more on the top 10.
Fuck. Okay.
So,
Okay.
the name of this one is quite funny. Ferretrophobia
Okay.
is the fear of caskets. One of those very specific phobias. This one is linked to both enclosed spaces, similar to claustrophobia, and the fear of being buried alive. So yeah, very adjacent to two other ones on this
Yeah,
list.
very adjacent.
Yeah.
Wait a second. Every child has this fear of the dark.
Yes.
Okay. So that has to be the one that's still in the top 10, which I think is 6 or 5.
Which one are you going with?
Oh, no. I feel like I never did. I know I did 1 through 4. I know I did 6, 9, and 10. We'll do 5 because I feel like I haven't done that one yet. Okay.
Number 5 is nyctophobia, the fear of the dark. Most people at some point when they are children suffer from the fear of the dark. However, when that fear persists into adulthood, it becomes a phobia.
Okay. Um, that's too stupid, Laura. I was gonna say fear of pillows, which is kind of funny.
There's one that's adjacent to that.
Okay, pillows. Sleeping?
The fear of sleep is on this
I'm
list.
sorry, what?
I know, right? I had fun going through this list.
I need you to know, I only said pillows because I looked over and saw my mountain of pillows on my bed. Like, what? Huh?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I understand insomnia. Hello, insomniac.
Right.
Okay. That's fine.
Where is it on this list?
Shit, I didn't think that far ahead. 17? Feel like
Higher.
higher?
Yep.
15.
Higher.
Shit. Okay, we did 10. 12?
Yes.
Okay.
Somnophobia
Okay,
is the
fine.
fear of sleep. This is a damaging phobia generally caused by one of two things: a fear of nightmares or sleep being a catalyst for a traumatic event.
Okay, yeah, that tracks, I guess.
Yeah.
How many do I have left?
3, 4, 5.
5. Okay, great. Not me looking around my room to try and find something. Uh, fear of knives. I don't know.
No, not on this list.
Is there anything adjacent like scissors or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
Well, let me check. Let me double check.
Let
No.
me check. Okay. Is it like a I feel like this is not a legit fear, and I feel like it's so stupid, especially with today's political climate. Immigrants
It,
or like foreigners or like something like that.
it is
That
on this list.
that's so fucking dumb. That's so dumb. I hate
Yeah.
people. That's so dumb.
Yeah.
15. I don't know.
It's higher. 15 was agoraphobia.
Oh, right. 11.
Lower. 11 was
12.
hemophobia. We already did 12. 12 was the last one we just did.
Fuck, right. 13. I don't know.
Yes.
I'm just saying numbers at this point. That's so
Xenoph
fucking stupid.
yeah, xenophobia is the fear of strangers or foreigners. This can also include strange things and foreign things in general, not always people. In general, almost everyone is wary of what is unfamiliar, but when it taken too far, can result in both prejudice and the inability to accommodate anything new.
Um, fear of friendship bracelets. I don't know. I'm looking back at like Taylor Swift bracelets I made for the movie.
Oh gosh,
With
no,
my loved one behind
that's
me.
not a fear.
Okay. I did sleep that like cleaner.
You're so close.
Okay, so if it's not cleaner like chemicals, because cleaner chemicals aren't cleaner.
Yes, fear of chemicals.
Okay, the almond mom trend needs to stop. Um, sorry. I say that as I'm drinking a liquid IV full of chemicals.
Yeah.
Oh shit number. 18.
Higher. Number 18 was triskaidekaphobia.
That's so many words.
Right?
14.
Yes. So,
Yay! Okay.
chemophobia is the fear of chemicals. Those with this condition have an intense aversion to chemicals and chemistry. While still called a phobia, it is considered more of a prejudice based on the combination of fair concerns and misconceptions over potential harms of chemicals.
Okay.
So you have 3 left. We don't have to do the numbers on these ones, but I want to
Okay.
see if you'll get them because they are the weirdest fucking ones on this list.
Okay. Oh, wait. Oh, no. What is that one? Oh, my God. There's either a Criminal Minds episode or like a Scorpion episode that was like about, oh, God, what was it? It was like the most random thing. I'm going to say germs, even though I know that can't be right. Like germophobia.
No, it's not germophobia, but there's one adjacent to it.
Okay. Adjacent germs. Germs you can't see. What else can you not see? Bacteria and germs are like the same thing. Wait. Wait. What's one thing you can't see that's all around you? Air?
The fear of air particles is on this list. It is
I'm
number 20 is amathophobia. In simple terms, this is the fear of dust. Even
okay,
though
yeah, no,
many
that tracks.
sufferers realize that dust poses no threat, they have a deep anxiety regarding its presence. So, like someone with OCD.
Yeah. Okay. Since it's essentially like dust. Dust is mostly made up of like dirt, like dead skin and hair.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like it needs to be one of those things, but I need to figure out which one. Am I on the
Yeah.
right track? Okay.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to go with hair just because it seems so absurd.
Shadophobia is the fear of hair. Some with this fear have it so bad they can't touch their own heads to keep their
Mm.
bodies shaved as smooth and keep their bodies shaved as smooth as possible. And that is number 19. So we are missing
That's
one more phobia.
okay. Okay. Like nails on a chalkboard. I don't think that's like a phobia, but it's like a weird
Mm,
sound that I hate.
ugh, I hate that sound.
Right?
No, that's not it. I'm gonna give you a hint on this one. Think of your favorite clown.
Pennywise balloons.
Globophobia is the fear of balloons.
I'm sorry. Globophobia to me would be the fear of globes, not
Right?
not
Uh,
balloons.
yeah, right. Clearly, Pennywise is a double whammy of a phobia inducer. Anyone with this fear would need to avoid festivals, used car lots, and children's parties. Globophobia is number 17 on this list.
What makes this funnier is I almost literally got an it balloon tattoo, like not even 2 weeks ago. I got 2 new tattoos since the last time we talked, but that's about it. I just
Jeez.
remembered that hasn't come up yet.
Yeah. So you said the fear of numbers earlier. That's on
Yeah.
my weird phobias list.
Ah, okay.
That
Okay,
is
I want to know
arithmophobia.
I want to know the weird ones on that weird list. I don't want to guess them, I just want to know them.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna butcher a lot of these. Iraqi butyrophobia is the fear of peanut butter sticking to the roof of your mouth.
Okay.
Nomophobia is the fear of being without your cell phone. Arithmophobia is the fear of numbers.
Fear of math.
Plutophobia
Yeah.
is the fear of money. Xanthophobia is the fear of the color yellow.
Yellow is too cheery. We'll give them that.
Ablutophobia is the fear of bathing.
Disgusting.
Octophobia is the fear of the number 8.
Okay, no. Okay. So fear of the number 8 was on weird, but fear of the number 13 was on the scary list?
This was 2 different lists that I pulled these from.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 different websites.
Got it.
Optophobia is the fear of opening one's eyes.
That must suck.
Oh god. Hippopotamonstraqupediliophobia is the fear of long words, and I pronounced that horribly, but that word is forever long.
I hate that word. Just that word.
Ephibophobia is the fear of adolescence. Ophalophobia is the fear of belly buttons.
Okay.
Linonophobia is the fear of string.
Put string on a
Pagano,
balloon, they're fucked.
right. Paganophobia is the fear of beards. Vestiphobia is the fear of clothing.
Okay.
Nudist colonies. We're just gonna go
I
with that.
guess.
Ergophobia is the fear of work.
Mood.
Decidiophobia is the fear of making decisions.
Yeah, that's just anxiety.
Asoptrophobia is the fear of mirrors.
Years.
Dipnophobia is the fear of dining with others.
Mood. I hate people too.
I'm gonna prepare for the screaming on this last one.
Oh no. I'll just mute my mic real quick.
Phobophobia is the fear of phobias.
I need you to know. I need you to know. I almost said that for the other list, strictly because I've heard that too many times, and
Yeah,
the fear of being afraid of things is just so out of pocket, and
yeah.
I don't know how to feel about it.
So out of all of these, only 2 of them crossed over from the other list, and that was globophobia and chitophobia. So balloons and hair.
Okay, I can't. Okay, I guess.
So I thought it was an interesting topic because we all have fears and
It is.
phobias, and it's kind of a nice light topic for Halloween. So
Instead of serial killers and murderers and horror stories that Laura normally
you
puts
know,
against.
we'll get back
I
to that. But
guess.
the last the last thing I wanted to talk about is I ended up finding the unofficial Harry Potter spell book at Five Below. So it has everything from nonverbal and wandless spells, the different wand woods, the wand cores, and it's got stuff for spells, charms, curse hexes, jinxes, and enchanted objects. So that may end up being a potential podcast thing if we wanted to go through that. I just thought it was interesting. I'm like, huh. Because it encompasses not only the movies or the books, but encompasses the card game and the the
I was
Lego
gonna
Harry
say
Potter game.
Lego Star Wars video.
Lego Star Wars. No, it encompasses the games too. So both the live action, like the actual character ones, and the Lego ones.
Uh-huh.
So I just thought this is interesting. So, but that's going to do it for us for this month. I hope you guys have enjoyed going down the list of scary and random phobias that I decided to find on the internet. Laura, you just look dumbfounded.
I also have a headache starting because I realized I've not eaten any food today and it's 5:30.
Dude.
Listen, I woke up at 12 because hockey last night went very late because I had other games.
Right.
And then insomnia hit, and then that happens. And then I had a race that started at 3:00, so I had to watch that.
Jesus.
And then I got distracted.
Yeah. So let's wrap this up fairly quickly then. So make sure you're following us on all of our socials over on Twitter at TNTwitsPod, at MasterPsych17, at LadyLaura01. You can also follow us over on our Instagrams, pretty much the same handles. If not, I think it's like underscores for yours. I know mine is the same.
It's underscores for mine, yeah.
Yeah. Make sure you're following us over on the YouTube channel, TNTwits Podcast, or I think it's just TNTwits. For not only the podcast episodes now going up on there, but any of our behind the scenes stuff from events that we're doing and fun things like that. But we will be back next month with a brand new podcast and a new topic, and we'll see how much Laura's brain will melt by then.
Pretty much. The answer is the limit does not exist.
Yes. All right. Be kind to one another. Have a happy Halloween. We will talk to you guys next month. Bye.
Bye.